Well, well, well. My name is Wayne Bolden, and let the games begin. We are literally 1 week out. It is Saturday, 1 week out from the Breeders' Cup Saturday Championship, and of course, the day before the Future Star Fridays with the 2-year-old babies. They'll be in town, right? Derby dreaming, Oaks dreaming, doing all those things that the 2-year-old girls do. But before I dive into the Godolphin, that's right, there he goes wearing that silky blue, right? Yeah, we're going to profile Godolphin and obviously Sovereignty and the other runners that they have, a quick note on each one of them. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to Nick C, right? He been commenting, and apparently he's a member in the community, so I want to thank him for being the best part of our community and being so darn classy. Oh, Nick loves that Forever horse in the classic. What's the horse's name? Oh, I get it, Nick. Forever Young. That's me and you, brother, as OGs. Forever Young in spirit. Hey, I'm not mad at him about that Forever horse. Hey, 9 wins from 12 starts, 3/3. Oh, I know his record, and he's a globetrotter. That horse, here's my final analysis on him. Nothing bothers Forever Young. He don't care where he raced, when he raced, he never raced 6 furlongs. A mile and a quarter, never won at a mile and a quarter. A mile and an eighth, blah, blah, blah. He don't care. He'll run here on the Jersey Shore in the sand. He carries his racetrack with him. That's very unusual for just the average baby, right? He's a 4-year-old now. He's big, he's stronger. I believe he's a major contender. But he's going to have to contend with the silky blue. Good luck, Nick. Classy, man. Thanks for doing it. And Carissa, give her a shout out. Better known as the Armchair Astronaut. What a great name that is. Well, we're going to profile, obviously, Sovereignty in the Classic here today. And everybody knows that I'm a Godolphin backer. I'm a card-carrying member, obviously. And, I just think they're world-class. And it is my favorite ownership. Somebody asked me, who was your favorite Godolphin horse? Oh, that's pretty easy. Thunder Snow. Well, yeah, Thunder Snow, right? Just love Thunder Snow. And, of course, the great Street Cry. But Thunder Snow and Street Cry are just 1 and 1A for me when it comes to the runners, and of course, right? And so Godolphin obviously has who we believe will be the favorite in this year's Classic, rightly so. Obviously, your Derby winner, didn't he win the Fountain of Youth? Yeah, your Derby winner, and of course your Belmont Stakes winner skip the Preakness because it's too fast of a turnaround for the classy Billy Mott. He don't roll like that, Billy don't get down like that. And where's the Fountain of Youth? For sure, and I don't see. Yeah, the Fountain of Youth. He won that Gulfstream, and won the Belmont and the Travers. So no one's ever done that and won the Breeders' Cup Classic. Hasn't raced since August 23rd, of course, in the Travers, where he ran a beautiful speed figure, right? 9 starts, 6 wins in 2 seconds. The only time Sovereignty's ever been off the board, was his very first start last year, 2024, August 24th, a maiden special up there at beautiful Saratoga, but since then he has reeled off 8 races and only first and second. So obviously he's trained by a world-class trainer and Hall of Famer, my guy Billy Mott, obviously. See Country House, Cigar, Cody's with, name them, right? And what are you gonna say? Okay, obviously I think he should be the favorite in here, but it's not going to be easy if you ask me, because this field assembled is really the first time, usually there's 1 or 2, you're like, yeah, but, being fair, all of these horses, first tier, second tier, that's how I look at them, are extremely talented, which shapes up for next year as great racing for us. And last year's winner, Sierra Leone, don't have to apologize to no one, ran a -4 on the sheets in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. That is awfully fast, y'all. Now, they went 22, 44, 109, and 130 135 or 134 to the mile marker, and it set him up beautifully. But him sweeping around there was just beautiful. And I mentioned in my Forever Young video, I thought he was stuck down on the rail, got bumped a few times, like that. And of course, Fierceness, who's I thought he would have some distance limitation because he's by City of Light, but that's not the case. He's extremely fast, he's extremely classy, and he's run a negative 3 2 back as well, and a 1 -1. So that these horses on the sheets, right, and it's a good measuring tool for me, even though I don't use them as much as I used to. These are very top tier horses, okay? You don't find horses in the races that run those type of championship numbers against each other. So we're in for a treat. It would not surprise me in the Classic if 3 or 4 of them are grouped across the track at the 16th hole. That would not surprise me at all. Okay, so I believe it's that close, unless one of these fine equines take a big step forward, and Sovereignty has every right to do that, because that's what Billy Mott does. Have not raced in which will be 2 months, okay, 8 weeks now, and I like 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks like that of rest, and no one can bring them off the bench like Billy Mott and continue to mature them and roll off wins. See Cigar and a bunch of others, right? So obviously he doesn't need no introduction. He is the horse to beat and most likely winner of the race going in. This horse has never went backwards on the sheets. He runs he started out as a 2-year-old, a 9, a 5, 5 3/4, hit a 1 3/4, hit 1 3/4 again, hit a 0, 0, and then he goes -2.5, -2.5. So on the sheets, his pattern is very, very beautiful. Always suggests that he's going to go forward. And the key there, for all the sheet readers out there, is the time that's given to him to recover from those races so he doesn't get knocked out. So when he paired up his last 2 races in the Travers and the Jim Dandy, -2, -2, that wasn't an aberration. That wasn't a one-off. See, it's one thing to have one good number. Okay, they used to call me Fast Number Wayne. One fat, don't get sucked in like that. You have to see, was that an aberration or is that the talent and ability? And so the last 2 races that this horse ran, a -2.5, I believe a -2.5, says no, is not a mistake. Typically when they run a race like that, they regress a little bit, and regressing to a -1 that's still darn near championship level, if not championship level. Very few horses get to negative numbers on the sheets, right? I mean, Flightline ran a -8. I've never seen that before. Ghost Zapper was running -6s and -5s. I believe Nick's Go ran like a -4, -5, but Flightline ran it. I mean, it's just beyond. So the whole story here with Sovereignty, obviously, is going to be well prepared. All these horses are going to be fit, but Sovereignty obviously deserves a lot of attention here. And again, it's Godolphin. So again, of course, he'll be on all my tickets. I don't know if I'll make him my top pick yet. I'm just doing a profile of him, which I don't really have to, because everybody knows, right? Now, he's going to be very, very short in odds. I don't like that, obviously. I'm thinking 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. And, so again, you have to figure out what's fair odds for you if you weren't willing to take him. But yeah, he needs no introduction, and obviously I'm a big fan. He is also one of my horses in my fantasy stable for sure, and of course we're always going to be rooting for Godolphin. Some of the other runners that Godolphin has this year in the Breeders' Cup. I believe Godolphin has 7 horses over 5 races, and 1 on Friday, which is the juvenile filly turf, which is Infinite Sky. Uh, Brad Cox. So she has a really good shot. Love the way that Brad is bringing her along. I believe it's one of his top probabilities for a win. So Godolphin do have that. The only one runner they have on Friday, as of now, a week out, is Infinite Sky. And then on Saturday, obviously, we know about the Classic and Sovereignty. But in the Breeders' Cup, fillies and Mare Turf, Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare's Turf, which is race number 12 on the card, have Cinderella Dream. Oh, is Mr. Appleby doing the conditioning? Hey, probably William Buick is up, y'all. And then also in that same race, Diamond Rain, who gave She Feels Pretty all she can handle, who would be in that race. Now, Minnie Hawk, the O'Brien runner, is cross-entered into the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare's Turf, race number 12, the race we're talking about now, and the Breeders' Cup Turf, which is race number 8. Yeah, Breeders' Cup Turf is race number 8. So let's figure out where Minnie Hawk is going to go. That is a top 3-year-old, I'm sure. So she's cross-entered between the 8th race. So that's going to be a very good race, the Filly and Mare's Turf. Godolphin is represented by 2. Cinderella's Dream, of course, and Diamond's Rain. And the next one that Godolphin has, one that I'm really high on, is Notable Speech. No, he did not just say it. Yeah, Notable Speech, to me, folks, is sitting on go-go. I like him. I really need to see what the other entries are and their odds and post position. But when you look at Notable Speech's run, I just think that the horse didn't have a great go at it last time. Has 6 wins from 13 starts, 1 win this year from 5 starts, but overall 6 for 13, which is darn near 50%, and $2 million. Now, the horse is coming back from Woodbine, where he ran, won that race, and that was just a beautiful, beautiful race that he ran that day. And that was on September 13th. Now back in about 5 weeks. That is awfully, awfully good. And I think this horse can just continue to go. This is a this horse is on my radar, right? How can you knock him? I think you want to get square odds on him because there are some really, really good horses in that race, okay? Bred impeccably, the Godolphin runner in this race for sure, which is the BC Mile, which is race number 10, part of a pick 5 for sure, the race right after the Classic. Notable Speech, I'm very high on him, and I'll have to wait to see where he draws. And then the last one is the Breeders' Cup Turf. Well, we all know what that race is all about. It is race number 8 on the card. It's the $5 million race, and El Cordovers is in that race. Applebee's doing the conditioning, and of course, one of my favorite, Rebels Romance, obviously the Gold Driver, looking for a 3rd Breeders' Cup running for sure. So Godolphin is loaded for bear. Obviously, we have a big rooting interest for Rebels Romance, the 7-year-old, the OG. Like me. We get old, but we get better at what we do. How can you not root for a horse? Because we don't get to see our equines run as much as they do now. They run for a year or 2, and then they put them in the breeding shed because they're worth so much more, and that's just the nature of the business. But that being said, Rebel Romance is going to be doing his thing in the Breeders' Cup Turf, which again is race number 8 on the card, the race right before the Classic. Now, can Godolphin win the 2 richest race of the Breeders' Cup? They can't, because the race right before the Classic, they have Rebels Romance, right, who may have lost a step, but they have that talented El Cordobas, Dorbis in there as well, 2 of them. So you could play a double from race 8 to race 9. Godolphin can win both of these races for sure. and it is literally the two richest races of all of them. Right, so that would be some feat for them. So there it is, right? Obviously, Sovereignty is a top win contender. The only question would be not if he's going to show up, if anybody else improves, and they probably will, but it's the odds. What's a fair value to take on him? Now, I have no other choice but to put him on my horizontal bets. I doubt very seriously if I bet the race head up, right? I bet across, so I get a chance to use multiple horses in the race, so it's a non-factor for me. But for the folks that play tries and triples and supers and like that, I'm not looking to bet anyone to win in that race. Not that I think of, once I have to look and see, but to me, obviously he'll be on my ticket and be rooting hard for him. But I tell you right now, when he punched them last two -2s out and he matched it again, and now he's got 5 to 6 weeks in between, or if not more, for races, those races shouldn't have not knocked him out, and he should have been able to recover from them. So he's going to be very, very tough, and he is obviously conditioned by one of the best that's ever done it, Mr. Billy Mott. So again, being a bit of a homer here, but you guys know this just as well as I do. I have a bunch of respect for the other runners in here, including what I call the second tier horses. No disrespect to Baeza, no disrespect to journalism. The reporter horse, who I threw out respectfully in the win hole. Why? Because again, they would have to literally burst into flames to get by the top 3 or 4 horses in here. None bigger than last year's winner, Sierra Leone. That horse ran a -4 last year in this race. Do you know how fast that is? And fierceness, right, with his speed and his ability to run that distance. Yo, man, he ran a -2.5, -3, right? That is a huge level to be at. And then you got Forever Young, obviously, and then the new shooter on the thing, Mind Frame, is in that same second tier with, in my opinion, with Journalism, Baeza, and Mind Frame. That's the second tier, but Mind Frame is looping to very, very good horses, is light on experience, but this is big time here. Okay, Mr. Raggedson would tell me, yeah, Mind Frame looks explosive, but this isn't the race to be trying to explode in. Because not only will you have to turn back 1, you're going to have to turn back 2 and 3 and maybe even 4. So that's why I think that Journalism, Baeza, and Mind Frame are second tier horses. Fine athletes, fine champions in their own right. It's just that we're in a year where, you know, these horses are extremely good. It reminds me of the Ghost Zapper Breeders' Cup Classic. I always said, hey, Roses and May ran a beautiful race. Go and watch it. Ran second behind them all the way. He was just born in the wrong year. Why? He just happens to run into a buzzsaw called Ghost Zapper. You know, but he did go on to win $14 million for Del Roman in their connection. So, a long story short, Godolphin is loaded for bear. They can win both of the biggest races on the cards, money-wise, $5 million and $7 million or $8 million. The Breeders' Cup Turf right before, of course, Rebel Romance and El Cordor was in that race. How about that double? Back to Sovereignty, right? For sure, for $7 million like that. So they are loaded for bear. Only one on Friday. I talked about that one, which is, of course, Infinite Sky, trained by Brad Cox, which makes Infinite Sky a merry horse. My name is Wayne Bolden. I'm your Speed King. There's your profile, not only on Sovereignty, which you didn't really need from me, but the other Godolphin runners, which we'll always have our finger on the pulse. My name is Wayne Bolden. I am the Speed King. I do need you to do me a favor. Get your orders in for your tip sheets. Email us at speedking24@yahoo.com. And one more favor. Stay classy and don't ever change. Thanks for being the best part of this community. Talk to y'all real soon.